Creative, I'm Travis Tolson. I should probably be watching the presidential debates tonight, but yeah, pretty sure I've already got my mind made up, and I don't think watching another one of those is going to change that. So instead, I'm going to work on the salary survey analysis tool some more. Last time, we got our histograms up and running. I've got a few things left that I want to polish up with those before I move on to the next component, which should technically be the final significant component. Um, and gauging time, we'll see how some of this stuff goes. But the first thing I want to try to clean up is I need to make room for my other component first of all, and I also need to add titles to each of these histograms. So to start, I'm going to jump over here, and I do need to look up chart.js. Need to hit up their documentation again. Title. So let's see. Chart, options, title. There we go. Alright, so basically I need to come in here. It's not part of data. I need to come in and add an options object and title and display is true and text is going to be, we'll just start with chart title. And I'll jump back over here. Something didn't go as planned. Ow. Let's fix my little quote marks here. There we go. Now save it. Reload. Alright, so you can see we got the chart title there now. But we do need to make this dynamic. So once again, I'm going to copy basically what we did before here. And I'm going to add a property to this. Return this dot chart dot options dot title dot text and set title value. So this is going to allow us to set the title value, and basically we're going to take this guy is equal to value, and to keep things consistent I will use new value. Sarah will hopefully be joining us at some point. Right now she is putting the little one down. Alright, so now that I got the property set up on the histogram, I need to come over here. Alright, now the parent, let's reload this, there we go. Alright, so the parent is going to be the parent is going to be the property. So let's see, render state. Okay, so I need this dot histogram dot title is equal to state dot histogram selected property. If it's easy, I'll do it. Otherwise, I'll. Nah. We can do that through CSS if we need to. All right. So then, hi, welcome.
You doing the thing?
I am. Presidential debates tonight.
Yep. What time is it? At 9?
I don't remember. Let's look it up. Might be live already.
Yeah, 8 p.m. Central. So it's going on right now.
Yeah, so it's going on right now.
You want to save this for another night and watch the dumpster fire that is the debate?
It ain't.
Same?
Yeah, I think I've
Yeah.
seen enough of that. I'm good. I'm
All
good.
right. I'll let you do your thing. I'll check back in a bit.
All right. Histogram title is equal to, now for the children, I want the key. Oh, thank you. And for that, we are going to have to change this up. So I'm going to have to change this to object.keys. And key. Histogram data dot children key. I'll change these to key as well. I don't even need the index no more. And self.childrenhistograms.querySelector, that should do data bins, and then title would be the key. And let's see how that does. Okay, Outlook, rainy, overcast, sunny, and there we go. So, so now we've got titles on each of these. Favicon, I'm not concerned about that one. Okay, so now we've got our histograms. The next thing I want to do is take our, all right, so we got outside and we got inside. So now if I was using Shadow DOM, I could more easily configure how this style would work. Because all of my, I could isolate all the CSS to that Shadow DOM scope, but I don't feel like messing with Shadow DOM right now, so I'm going to use classes instead. So we got histograms, and come in here, dot histograms. Actually, I may not even need that. Let's see. All right, so this is my app. All right, let's do this first. Because what I'm going to end up with is when I add my component that I plan on adding tonight, the plan is to have a sidebar off to the left of all this. So essentially what I want to do is I'll put a placeholder in here for now. And now, here, let's do this. I'll just do sidebar for now. And let's change that to flex row, because then I can use it in two different places. Save it, reload, sidebar. Ooh, what happened? Let's see. Cannot set property inner HTML of null. Oh, I know what I did. I do still need, because I'm keying off of the children histograms. So this actually does still need to have children histograms in it, otherwise it can't read. There we go. Okay, now we're back. All right, so now I've got a sidebar. Um, so, we'll do class sidebar. Actually, we'll switch this div over to main, because that's my main content. Let's see, aside. I don't like aside for this one because this isn't an article. So, all right, so I no longer have histograms. I can eliminate that one. I do need, what was it, dot? Sidebar, I want to be, yeah, we'll start with width, and we'll see how that goes. And then main, just kind of ballpark this one. Okay, that feels pretty good. It does go off to the side though. I need to set flex wrap. And okay, so I need flex wrap, I think is what I'm missing. So, and div class flex row. We'll go off of children histograms. Flex wrap. Let's see if that changes anything. There we go. So now it's going to stack down to the bottom instead of branching out to the side the way that it was. So now we've got our basic layout that we were hoping for. I got my top distribution, I got my child distributions, and then I've got a sidebar over here. So next up, I need a new component. So let's jump over here, and let's start working on this. What do we want to call this one? We'll call it a property tree, at least for now. I guess we can go with that. Alright, so I'm going to come back over here. And I guess I don't need that export. Let's make sure I don't need that export. Yep, everything's still good. Okay. So property tree, paste, we'll get rid of the export. And I'm just using the histogram class as kind of a dummy template here just to get some code down quickly. We'll keep the render function at least for now, though I may not need it. We'll give this one the salary property tree tag. All right. Now, so for this one, what I want is, at least to start anyway, I want a list of all the properties: outlook, temp, humidity, windy. I don't technically want hours played. There's going to be some degree of stuff that I want to exclude, but I'm not going to worry about excluding those just yet. So, property tree. Don't need the chart, don't need the context, all that can go away. Alright. Let's see. So let's take a look at the data I've got. If I look at my state, well, here, let's get rid of a couple things first, because I think I still got a, yeah, here's a console.log. We won't need that anymore. This guy we shouldn't need anymore. I'm just going to comment them out so I can get rid of them later if needed. Reload. There we go. Oh, nope, I still got a console.log somewhere. Where are you? Let's see, rainy, overcast, sunny, undefined, undefined, undefined. I'm not sure. It's not there. It's not here. Is it in here? Let's search all of it. And I did a Control-Shift-F for this one. Well, it ain't any of them, that's for sure. Sequence store, Nginx app salary survey, those are both commented out. This one here. I don't need that console.log anymore. And that was in the selectors. There we go. All right, so now I've got just the actions being outputted. So in my state, all right, so, to make this simple, I'm going to assume that, hey Andrew, how's it going? Welcome back. So to keep this simple, I'm going to assume, and I think I made this assumption somewhere else as well, but I'm going to assume that every object in our responses, in our survey responses object, I'm going to assume that every single one of them has some value in every single property. So in other words, if I look at one response, I can immediately tell what all the properties are. So first thing, I'm going to create properties and set properties. Let me think about this one. Yeah, I guess we can stick with that. Let's change this to property names, though. And new value. This dot property names is equal to new value. So this creates a new property on this particular component, and this kind of makes the component quote unquote reusable. And basically what I'll do is I will pass the data from my app object. And this makes it so that my app object is the only one that has to be hooked up to the store in the store subscribe. And for anybody joining in new, that store is basically like a Redux store. It's my own poor man's version of it. Let's clear that search out. Okay. So, get property names, set property names. The render function, what I want it to do, so first of all, we're going to need, no, we really don't need anything. I shouldn't need a render because I'm actually only going to build this once. So let's do this. Actually, wait a second now. I do need a render. I do need a render because I'm going to call that render method. Shouldn't really need state, but we'll pass it anyway. Okay, so what I need to do is this property names for each function property name. Let's see. All right. What do I want this guy to append? And I did this before with the histograms, so let's remember how I did it with this guy. Or no, sorry, it was over here with the histograms. Insert adjacent HTML. Before end. And let's start with something nice and simple. We'll use the backticks to give us the string literal, sorry, template literal. And what do I need? What do I need? Okay, let's do nice and simple. Div, $, curly braces, property name, /div. Let's keep it real simple right now. All right. Here. And I'm going to add a little bit of a caching layer here. So if state is equal to this dot state, don't do anything. No, that actually won't work because this should only be working on state change anyway. So ignore that. We'll go back. Okay. Let's just see how this works for now. All right, so when I render this, I need to render the parent histogram. I need to render children histograms. And render property tree. All right, so the property tree Actually, now, because there's only going to be one of these, I don't have to render multiple. Think this through. Now, sorry, I will need that, because what we're going to do is do this. I want to add into my template in my sidebar. I want to add a salary property tree. I wonder if there's a plugin that gives me the HTML autocompletes. I'm sure there is from within these templates. I'll have to check on that at some point. Alright, so that should put the salary property tree in there. And then this dot property tree is equal to this dot query selector salary property tree. And then down here, when I render, I can say this dot property tree. I know what I wanted to do now. Okay, I'll get to that in a second. This dot property tree is equal to, okay, and this is where I need to do state dot responses. So I'm taking this state object, responses, the first one, and we're going to do object dot keys, and that should get me the list. And this is based off of the assumption, once again, that every object in the responses array has the exact same properties. Doing this would not work if the objects changed, but because I'm going to be converting an Excel spreadsheet into a JSON object, they'll all have the same properties. I'm not getting this JSON from anywhere else, so I don't have to worry about that kind of variance. Because in Excel, the columns are still there. It's physically required. Let's see what we got. Property tree. Oh, and then I got to call this dot property tree dot render, and we'll pass state. And actually, I wanted property tree to go property names. Okay, and then I come over here, and so the caching layer that I actually want, if state dot responses, so if my responses changes, is equal to return. And so then what I can do is after that I can say this dot responses is equal to state dot responses. And so now what will happen is if that responses array changes at any point, it will redraw. However, if I'm issuing events or dispatching actions that don't change the responses, then nothing should change. And we got an error anyway. This dot property tree dot render is not a function. I beg to differ. Salary property tree. I think I know what the issue is. I did not import this component, import all as property tree from dot slash components dot property tree.js. Ooh. Oh, dot instead of slash. There we go. Cannot read property insert adjacent HTML of undefined. And once again, I have run into the can I specify a this context? Yes, I can. Okay. So callback and then this. All right. So since that's the case, this. All right. Outlook, temp, humidity, windy, hours played. All right, so we've got them visible at this point. Okay. Now, and I don't have my, let's see if I can pull it up. I don't remember if I saved it or not. I think I did. Okay, recent document, not that one. Glide fast nodes. No, that was different. Did I not save it? I guess not. All right, so basically I'm going to be working down the decision tree. So I need to be able to filter, and once filtered, I need to be able to split. So basically, I only need two actions on each of these properties. I need the ability to add it to my filter, and I need, or actually, wait a second, no. I need to know what values are available for each of these. What I have is not good enough. So basically, if you remember correctly, I've got this filter object, which golly, I wonder, where is, I guess I didn't save it. And I restarted my computer last night, and so that drawing went away. All right, so basically, as I work down the decision tree, first I'm going to split on a property, such as outlook, temp, humidity, windy, and hours played. Well, probably not that one because that's my target value. However, I also need the ability to add filters where basically I say, you know, Outlook, for example, has the option of being rainy, overcast, or sunny. So if I'm going to filter down to a node, basically you would have, here, let's just kind of rebuild a little bit. So if I were to split on Outlook, then I would end up with my rainy, overcast, and we'll was the other one? Sunny. Okay. And we're going to change the color of this one. All right, so green is my properties, yellow is the values. So when I select properties to split on. And that is what, if I go back to my actions, histogram property selected is when I select a property. What that's going to do is it's going to display the histograms given my current filter. Now, that's going to display the histogram for Outlook, and it'll display 3 histograms, one for rainy, one for overcast, one for sunny. Then, if I wanted to take and split this further, in decision tree parlance, I have split on this attribute. I would then select one of these split nodes in order to split that particular node further, and I would select another property. So let's say, what was another one? Let's say temp, okay? So then I might split rainy on temp, but overcast I could split on a different property. So essentially you have selecting, you have the action, you have histogram property selected action. I select Outlook. And then I would add a filter, which is basically selecting this node. So Outlook is rainy. That said, I, in some way here, have to display what these values are, because as of right now, I'm not showing it. As of right now, all I've got is the properties. So let's see, what can we do? My histogram does get them. And that is done through the children. Where are those? Where's that function at? Histogram. Nope. Selectors. Get histograms. Okay, so object.keys children. So for each filtered response, selected property value, response, state, histogram selected property. Okay, I see. Basically, I could probably piggyback on my get histograms. Okay. How do I want to do this? Actually, I could just leverage my histograms over here, because technically if I clicked on my title, or if I clicked on some button around these histograms, I could use my histogram to do the filtering. And then I could just select my properties from the side. That would work. That would work. Okay. I kind of like this approach. Let's go with it. All right, so let's first focus on this guy over here. Excuse me. So I have a list of properties, and I need to be able to split on them. Splitting is what we're doing here, and that is going to be the histogram property selected action. histogram property selected. So my property tree is going to have to import that action, or not necessarily. I could keep this one pure and pass it. So for example, we'll do onClick. Oh no, that one may conflict. We'll find out. Let's try it this way first. Render. Alright, so now we are going to have to bind that here. Okay. How can we do this? Let's try. What was I calling it? Select property. Okay. Should be able to do something like onClick. And now, don't quote me on this one, but if I remember correctly, I don't know if that'll do it or not, but we're going to find out. Select property is not defined. Oh, this dot. Unexpected token. I want to say I did this one before, but I can't remember how. Uncaught syntax error. Unexpected token. I don't understand that error. Let's see. Now, not tagged function. let's see, on click my function, try it. I don't see any issues explicitly. Unexpected token. Which token is unexpected? Well, let's take a look at the HTML. Oh. Let my function um here's how you can invoke a function in a template literal. You can give the onClick a reference to your function by not providing that when referencing it. This will tell JavaScript to call a function and attempt to pass the event's arguments when it gets triggered. So the problem now is that it's actually rendering out, it's converting it to a string, it's not passing a reference. And that's not what we're going for. Let's try some. Kind of a crazy idea. I don't think it'll work, but we'll give it a shot. It's the worst that could happen. Nothing. Can I read property, select property of undefined? Nothing. On click. Not sure on this one. This one's proven tough. Let's see. I wonder if let's try something real quick. Mouse event is trusted. Target div to element div. Okay. So in theory, I can add not enters. And I can say property name, curly brace, and I can say a dot target get attribute. A.target dot get attribute property name windy, humidity, temp, outlook. Okay, so basically what I've done here is by passing the property name to the div, events bubble up. So anytime I click anything, and I'm actually going to move this handler up to the connected callback, anytime I click on anything inside of this property tree element, it's going to cause the onClick to bubble up to the salary property tree element. And because I've given each of these an attribute, I can use the target dot attribute. So we're going to element, or I think it's actually technically event. So it's going to bubble the event up, and I can look at the event, I can look at the target of the event that was clicked, and I can get its property name attribute, and now I know which one I clicked. Now from here, what I can do is I can okay, so I can actually jump out of this. All right, I'm actually going to remove this onClick. I'm not going to bind it in this property tree. I'm actually going to bind it from the application, because the application, again, already has my store. It already has the behaviors I'm looking for. So what I want to do is up in my connected callback, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say this dot property tree dot onClick is equal to function event, and what we're going to do is say store dot dispatch, and I'm going to do a histogram property selected, but instead of passing outlook, I am going to pass event dot target dot get attribute property name, and if that works, okay, so you'll notice, all right, right now I have humidity and it shows high and normal. Really? Is there only two? Let's make sure. Humidity is only high or normal. Okay, so I have high and I have normal. Now I can select temp, and you'll see temp has changed, hot, mild, and cool. I can select windy, and now I've got false and true. So because of how I have wired up these render statements in these components, and because I've wired it all up to my poor man's Redux store, I have an event management system where basically on any given event, I can dispatch actions to my store, and my app component subscribes to the store and pushes the state back down my component tree. And so everything wires up. There's no AngularJS in this. There's no React. There's no Vue.js. There's no lit element, Polymer. I'm not using any of those. This is pure vanilla, and what you're seeing is the dynamic style behavior where I can click on something over here and get the behavior that I'm looking for on the right hand side. Now, obviously, we kind of want to take things to, we want to clean things up at least a little bit. So inner HTML is equal to, we'll give it a base. And style, give it a style tag. Again, every component can have its own styles, and you know, we can create this as a bit of a tree. So for this style, first of all, I'm just going to leave it that way for now. So the portal developer in me wants to do all of the accessibility features, roll button, you know, all the I think it's pronounced web aria, web aria, something like that. I don't quite remember. Bottom line, it's the web accessibility standards, and my instinct tells me put that stuff in now or you'll forget. But then I realized that I'm really kind of only building this tool for myself for this very specific purpose, and that might not be the most important thing to focus on right now. So, focus and requirements and stuff. Okay. Class equal to property tree prop. Who am I kidding? I don't need this garbage, because I can actually just do, what's this element called? Salary property tree. And if you're wondering why salary property tree, why I said property tree, it's because initially I was expecting to have some expand and collapse type stuff where I showed the values in the tree, but then I realized that I don't need it. So whatever. Cursor is pointer, I think. Haha. So now I get the nice little cursor. Add some hover. I don't know if that's a little too dark. There we go. That feels a little better. I wonder what this color is. Oh, it's a canvas. I can't get that color. Oh well. Okay, so then we're going to add a little padding, 0. I don't know. Let's go with that. See how that works. Probably too much. Probably the wrong way. Yeah, way too much. Let's say 0.5, see where that gets us. Padding left. All right. So now I got it clicking through. So, and this is why I was saying that the target value is probably one we wouldn't want to split on, because you get this weird. Bottom line, this is not categorical data. This is not categorical data the same way that these are. Let's see, what else can we do? All right. so that gives me that. So then the next thing I need is the ability to click on the titles and filter them. All right. Let's see. One batch, two batch. Histogram. All right, something I want to do in here. Inspect. Let's do a little bit of cleanup. Oh my. I can't style that at all. That's not going to do. Nope, that is not going to do at all. Okay. So let's try something real quick. Histogram title. And in the title, instead of getting and setting, we're going to say return this dot title, and we're going to say this dot title is equal to that. We're going to get rid of our title options. Basically what I want is I want to be able to use CSS to capitalize the title, and I want to be able to style that without having to do some extensive manipulation to the chart.js. And right now this is embedded within the canvas, and I can't do anything with that. I couldn't even really do an on-click, at least not on that specific title, without going into the chart.js library, which is something I'm trying to avoid right now. Mostly because I'm just trying to stick with what I know best. So when I render this dot chart update, this dot, I do need to get the title. So we'll do this dot title is equal to this dot query selector. We'll make this an internal title element, and query selector dot histogram title there. And then what I want to change is the inner text of this. So this dot inner text is equal to this dot not title element. And we do want to change a couple things here. I don't even know what that's doing. All right, let's see how that does. Okay, so now you can see it's shifted over. So we need to do salary histogram, and then dot histogram title text align center. Um, let's see. This dot title element dot set attribute property value is this dot title. So now if I take a look and I inspect this guy, you can see that the property value is outlook, and we're going to do the same thing that we did before with hooking into the onClick event. When we build these guys, we're going to hook into the onClick. Well, technically, we're going to look at it from the salary histogram end of things, or actually probably the children histogram. So if I come down here and I'll do this dot children histograms is where we're going to listen to the event. Dot onClick is equal to, because once again, if I click on one of these, the event will bubble up to my children histogram. Well, not this one. These ones will, and those are the ones that I want. Those are the ones that I want to capture. So, event store.dispatch actions dot filter something or other. Filter added. Here, we'll just copy this guy. Where are you? Right here. Actions.filter added. This one needs to be event.target.get attribute property name value. And this one is going to be store.getState dot, I don't even remember the name of that property. Keep forgetting it. Histogram selected property, the one we got currently selected. Okay. Reload. Okay, so now if we watch down here, I should be able to click on temp, and you see histogram property selected gets dispatched. Now I should be able to click on this and filter added, and my charts update. Temp is null. So that didn't work. Let's see, not property tree, it's going to be in the histogram. Oh, it's just property value. My bad. Should just be property value. Let's try that again. Okay, once again, select temp. I get my property selected, my values update, click on hot, filter added, so it's now filtering down to just hot. And you can see that there's only one distribution now, so I can then switch to, let's say, windy. And now I can see the distribution for windy. Oh my gosh, we are almost done. We are almost done. let's see. All right, so now I need the ability to remove filters. I need the ability to walk back up the tree. I'm going to need another component. Okay. We're getting close, guys. I mean, this already is really cool because, like I said, I can now walk down the tree. I can select humidity. I can select where the humidity is high, and you can see that, you know, it changes. Well, actually, there is one more thing. Sorry, before I do anything else with filter.js, let's do one other thing. And this is in the property tree, because one thing I wanted to be able to clearly see on this property tree was the variance. Okay, property names. I set the property names. Let's go back to the app.js property tree. Salary property tree. Okay, on clicks, not what I need. Property names is state.responses.object.keys. Let's get the split variances. Okay. Humidity, outlook, temp, windy. All right, so this function is going to get my split variances. All right, so basically what I need to do variances, set variances, spell it right, there we go. All right, so then what we're going to do is we're going to create an internal value for these. And there's supposed to be a spec that will allow true internal property names, or true internal properties. But as of right now, the only way to successfully get this is to basically cheat with the underscore, which, you know, indicates that you wish it was private, but it's not. You can also do some fancy things with closures and stuff like that, but especially in this case, it's just not worth it to me. So get variances, set variances, property name, dash, and we're going to say this dot variances property name. And then in here, I'm going to get these, and we're going to say this dot property tree dot variances is equal to that. And I'm going to comment this guy out. And Let's see. Now, I think I'm going to have to remove my little caching bit here, because I am going to need that to update. And I am... var styles is equal to, and then what I'll do is say this dot inner HTML is equal to styles, and on render we'll do the same thing, and that's actually, wait a second, I need this dot underscore styles, otherwise I can't access it from down here. This dot inner HTML is equal to this dot underscore styles. This inner. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to reset it, render the responses, render the property names, go. All right. That's fine. I don't particularly care about that one right now because again, we're not going for perfect. One thing I do want to do though is, and we will do this over here, math.round. I do not want, and I do not want a bunch of decimal points. Math round. No, that is not what I want. Maybe what I really want is 2 fixed. Number, prototype, 2 fixed. Okay, so I don't want math.round. I want that guy dot and we're gonna multiply by 1. I don't know if that'll actually do anything. Dot 2 fixed. Let's say 2 and give it a whirl. I'm okay with nan as an answer. That's all right. Undefined to nan, I can live with that. Okay, so now you can get a sense of the basic process I'm going to be following here, because essentially what we're going to do is we will ultimately start out, and actually let me start by getting rid of some of these dispatches, because those were just dummy placeholder. Reload. Histogram. Let's see. If state dot selected histogram selected property. Is that right? Yeah, histogram selected property is currently undefined. So I only want to render this stuff if it has a value. Reload. Histogram. Oh, not that one. Component histogram. That's fine, I can live with that. All right, so what we're going to get, I don't know, let me think about this one. That's fine. It's a trash state, but if I was going for better, I'd like hide this until I selected something. Um, let's see. Else this dot histogram dot styles display. I don't know if that'll work or not. Oh, that else is in the wrong place. I don't know what happened there. Cannot set property display of undefined. Histogram is that one. Dot style. Oh, it's not plural. Ha, there we go. And otherwise, display block. So now what should happen is I select one and boom. So nothing selected, no data. Then I would look at my variances. Lower variance indicates that it has more influence. So for example, if I look at this, you can see somewhat tight cluster there. You can see a nice tight cluster right there. Nice low variance. And then that one's a little more spread out. If I compare that to temp, spread out, a lot more spread out, kind of spread out. Humidity, almost completely spread out on all attributes, and windy is much the same. So you can see that when I split by a given attribute, you can see that the distributions change. And you know, basically what this is telling me is that if I was looking at improving my ability to predict the hours played, then I would want to start by looking at the outlook. And I'd be really fortunate if I came across the outlook being overcast, because that almost that pins my hours played to somewhere between 40 and 55 according to the studied results. And basically, we can do the same with our salary data. We can see these variance reductions. And that's what this tool is going to help me build out. And now that I can see the variances and I can click through these, I can easily show where these breakdowns fare better and worse for how they impact the distribution. But after filtering, so like if I were to turn around and filter by overcast, for example, then you can see that the next lowest is temp. So if I select temp, you can see that if the temperature is cool, so overcast was sunny, I think we selected. So if it's sunny and cool, you got it pinned down to 40 to 45. If it's sunny and hot, you got it pinned down to 40 to 50. So you can see how each time we filter down, we get a little bit closer. The problem is that right now, I can't see the filter that we currently have. I can't see the filter, and frankly, I can't drill back out of the filter. And that's what I need to fix. Once I fix that, it'll be ready to use. It'll be usable. It will be functional. Sarah will yell at me because it's still hideous, but it'll be functional. I get nothing for that?
Oh, I came in.
Oh, hi. Your
Yeah.
ears must have been burning. Ow.
Yeah. I heard you talking about me. Cut you. Hey, Andrew.
He dropped off.
Oh, did
He just stopped in for a moment.
Well, you still have somebody viewing.
Somebody's viewing. I assumed it was you.
No, I'm not.
I see how it is.
Yeah. I can hear you all over the house, so we're good. That's looking good.
Yeah, check it out. So you haven't actually seen all the changes, but these are the properties in the data set. Okay. So you can see that Outlook has the lowest variance, so I select it, and you can see the different splits. Okay. Now I can turn around and I can see that this one's got tighter variance. So let's say that I want to see for just the Outlook overcast. I can click on that, and now it's filtered it down to just those. Now you can see that temperature is the lowest variance, so I can select temperature, and you can see now that if my Outlook is sunny, I think is what I selected. If the Outlook is sunny and it's cool, the hours played, not salary, because
you just put that
right.
Blah blah blah.
But it's between 40 and 45.
Yeah.
If it's mild, it's between 50 and 55, and if it's hot, it'll be between 40 and 50. So you get a nice tight cluster when you drill it down that way.
That's
so
cool.
Now I can do this with the salary data, but I don't have any way to walk back up the filter chain, nor can I actually see what my current filter is.
Breadcrumbs.
Exactly,
So,
which is where this that's where I'm going, is my filter. And we're going to turn around and we're going to get rid of some of this stuff. I'll leave.
I know a lot of developers roll their eyes at breadcrumbs, but what is important about them is that for a good user experience, it does a lot to ensure that your user knows exactly where they are and has an easy way to look and see how to get back to where they were. There are some other things we could put on the page to help with that as well. And once you get it functional and everything, I can show some different ways to style it so that we're not out of box, blah blah blah, breadcrumbs. Not much you want to do with that because you want to keep it recognizable for what it is, but we'll definitely make it a part of an overall theme so it's not sticking out like a sore thumb and they can find what they need. So have fun building breadcrumbs.
And in this case, it's part of a necessary user experience, because without them,
you have no way to get back.
I have no way to get back.
So there are a few ways you could build something on the sidebar or something like that they can select between or something like that. But breadcrumbs is going to be kind of your bread and butter for this kind of situation.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing. I'll have to think about that. Maybe a sidebar of some kind where they can just click and stuff like that. But we don't want to get overly complex for the sake of, ooh, we can do this and it's cool, because that does not contribute to
crunching numbers.
User experience. The other thing you have to worry about is if you put too many choices in front of the user, then that's going to overwhelm them and it's actually going to slow down the rate at which which they can find what they need and process the information. Too many choices.
Too many choices.
Bedroom floor syndrome.
Ah, apartment room floor syndrome.
Yep.
I remember that one.
Yep.
All right, let's see. All right, I'm going to try and wrap this up soon. So that means I got to do this quick if I'm going to get this knocked out tonight. We are within reach of accomplishing this in 5 sessions. And I'm going to be honest, when I started this, I was worried that after a couple sessions I was going to have to throw in the towel because I wouldn't be able to do it fast enough. So the fact that it's actually almost done in 5 is quite astonishing. With that, I'm going to cheat. State.filter is my object. Is equal to this dot filter return. And again, I could redraw this every time, and I may end up going back to that, but filter is equal to state.filter, because what we're going to do is when the filter changes, and I'm going to get rid of all that junk. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. I can do object.keys state.filter. Oh my gosh. Property name. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this dot, we're going to do same as we did with the property tree. This dot insert adjacent HTML before end. And backticks. Div, well, span. Span would be more appropriate here. Span slash span. Oh my goodness, it can't be this easy. It can't be. Property name is equal to property name. No, I need square brackets around that guy. What happened? There we go. I need state.filter property name. All right, let's save it there. It cannot be this easy. Salary filter is the name of my tag. App.js. I'm going to create a div up top for my filters. There we go. Salary filter slash salary filter. Then we're going to come down here and I'm going to say this dot salary filter is equal to this dot query selector. Okay. Then on render, I'm going to say this dot salary filter dot render, and what I need to do is, actually now, all I have to do is pass state for that one. Nada. Dang it. cannot read property. Insert adjacent HTML of undefined in filter. Ah, I did it again. Need to pass this. Needs to be in the right context. Rainy. Outlook is equal to rainy. Yes. Okay. All right, so styles and actually, let's pull that out. Okay, this dot filter is equal to state dot filter. This dot inner HTML let's see, I want to do that, and then we're going to have a span bolded. Okay, next up, let's give the property tree some spacing. Um, display block. There we go. Okay. Filter. I need a padding left on. And again, this is kind of a dirty. If I really was doing this for a real sustainable project, I'd be a little more particular about how I was applying styles, but I'm content to just kind of make things work. Salary filter, padding left, 1 EM. There we go, that brings it in line. Outlook, rainy, temp, hot, outlook, stays the same. Okay. All right, getting closer, getting closer. Ampersand, greater than. Outlook rainy, humidity high. All right, I gotta fix that real quick. In here, I need histogram title, cursor, pointer. Hover. Background color is E. See, and that'll do. Again, I'm not looking for real fancy here. Just looking for some basics. Okay, now the last thing I need to do is I need to bind the onClick. So here's what we're going to do. Class is equal to filter item dot filter item cursor is a pointer. Filter item hover. Background color is EEE. Okay, we're going to have to do the same thing we did before. Property name is equal to, and we'll do $curlies, property name, and then we need to come back to our app, and in here, this dot salary filter dot on click, and we're going to do the exact same thing we did before. We're going to capture that event, and then we're going to do a store.dispatch. And what we need is filter removed. We're going to dispatch a filter removed, and you can see that the filter removed accepts a property name, which is going to be a part of event target dot get attribute property name. Here goes nothing. All right, so I select Outlook. Overcast looks good. I filter down. Then I switch to temp. Cool. All right, good information. I'm feeling good. Now I want to go back. And we're back. Outstanding. So once again, I can drill in. I can drill into temp. I can drill into humidity. We can drill into Outlook. And then I can remove humidity. And I can remove, oh no, we have an error. Cannot read property type of undefined. Salary filter, on click, something botched. Let's see. Cannot read property type of undefined. That's strange, because it's only happening on this one. This is the only one we've seen so far where it gets kludgy. All right, let's see. Got excited a little too early, but we are so close. So close. Okay. Mouse event. Filter removed. Error during stored dispatch. Cannot read property type of undefined. mouse event, target, span.filter item. Object.dispatch, responses reducer, action.type. Why is there no action? Type is right there. Okay, let's pull up store real quick and let's add a little log to store. Where is store? Oh, it's in lib. Okay. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. First of all, in progress with false, because we can't have errors breaking things, breaking the ability to dispatch in the future. And console.log or console.error action. Let's see what happens. Gosh, we're so close. Okay, so it happens even on just one. Undefined. Cannot read property type of undefined. Oh, I see the problem. I called store.dispatch twice. That was stupid. Okay, then this should do it. This should do it. Here goes nothing. Outlook. Let's go rainy. Switch to temp. Let's select cool. Remove cool. It works. Remove rainy. It works. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an app. All right. And with that, I'm going to call it a night for tonight. The next step, for me anyway, is to pull the salary survey data into this app and start the analysis with the hopes of being able to publish the results fairly soon. But the tool is up. The tool is running. It, in theory, works. I mean, we'll know for sure once I dump the salary survey data into it. But as far as I can tell, this thing is working. I've double checked the numbers. The numbers are what I expected them to be. I'll run a couple of additional tests to make sure that the filtered data set numbers are what I expect. But in all reality, this is going to help me visually confirm, and that was part of this desire. But yeah, this does it. We have a functioning salary survey analysis tool. So I look forward to being able to start analyzing and putting together some compiled results so that we can get this survey result published. So yeah, thank you guys for joining in. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I certainly did. I'm very excited with the outcome, and I this is everything that I hoped it would be. I mean, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it'll do. Um, so yeah, thanks a lot for joining in. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to get the salary results out as soon as possible, and hope to see you next time. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a good night.